Have you ever noticed that the difference between an amazing international trip and like a completely miserable one usually comes down to about four very specific, incredibly boring sentences?
Yeah, we totally love to romanticize travel, but fundamentally, moving across borders is just a logistics exercise.
Right.
And if you can't articulate those basic logistics, well, the romance of the trip disappears pretty quickly.
Oh, absolutely. And that is exactly what we are getting into today in this deep dive. We are looking at a beginner-level English travel guide from a show called The English Cafe.
Which is specifically built for A1 and A2 language learners, right?
Exactly. The creators intentionally designed the material to be really slow, very clear, and perfectly paced for beginners. It's all about preventing information overload. But what we are going to unpack for you today is the hidden architecture behind why they chose the exact phrases they did.
Because when you look closely, this guide isn't just some random list of vocabulary. It is actually mapping out the expanding radius of a traveler's autonomy.
Okay, wait, let's unpack this. I've always thought of these foundational phrases like the edge pieces of a jigsaw puzzle, you know?
Ooh, I like that analogy.
Yeah, because you never start a puzzle in the chaotic middle. You build the frame first. And on an international trip, you're building that frame in a place where you have the absolute least amount of autonomy, the airport.
Right, so phase one is all about compliance and reducing friction. The guide focuses on rigid, transactional phrases at the check-in counter and customs. Things like, I would like to check in, please. Or, here's my passport.
And where is the departure gate?
Yes, and the most critical one of all, I am here for tourism.
It is so funny how tempted people are to overcomplicate that last phrase. You stand at customs and suddenly you feel this overwhelming urge to explain your entire 10-day itinerary to the officer. Why do we do that?
I mean, it's nervousness, but it's the worst thing you can do at a security checkpoint. The underlying psychology of customs is about processing volume safely.
Because officers handle hundreds of people an hour, right?
Exactly. A simple, I am here for tourism, answers their primary security query instantly. It proves your intent without spinning new, confusing threads of conversation that they then have to untangle.
Keep it brief to survive the barrier. Makes sense. So once you get through that checkpoint, the immediate next step in this expanding radius of autonomy is establishing your base camp, the hotel.
Yeah, you are moving from a state of total restriction at the airport to, well, establishing control over a microenvironment. The guide gives you the tools to claim your space.
Like, I have a reservation. My name is.
Right. And then the tools to manage your time. What time is checkout? Or can I have a wake-up call at 7 a.m., please?
And it includes the ultimate troubleshooting phrase, the air conditioning is not working. I look at these hotel phrases like a remote control for your comfort.
A remote control?
Yeah.
How so?
Well, you could book a gorgeous room with Egyptian cotton sheets, but if you do not know the phrase to press the button and get the AC fixed, your cortisol spikes. You cannot actually enjoy the room.
That is such a good point. That is the real power of language in this context. It is a mechanism for lowering your stress.
Yeah.
Knowing how to report a broken AC is quite literally about taking ownership of your physical comfort so your brain can finally relax in an unfamiliar environment.
Which brings us to the final phase. Your room is cool, you are well rested, and you step outside to explore. The guide highlights two essential transport questions to get you moving.
Right, so we have, can you call me a taxi, please?
Mm-hmm.
And where is the nearest subway station?
And those two questions represent completely different travel philosophies for navigating the unknown, don't they?
They really do.
I am going to push back a little on treating those two equally, actually. Having a taxi called for you is a great safety net, but asking where the subway is, that gives you, the traveler, true independence to navigate the city on your own terms.
Well, you are touching on the difference between being a passenger and being an explorer. Relying on taxis keeps you in an isolated bubble.
Which is safe, but maybe a bit limiting.
Exactly. Engaging with the subway forces you to interact with the city's actual infrastructure. It requires a higher cognitive load, but it rewards you by plugging you directly into the local rhythm.
So we have unpacked this core survival toolkit for you today, following that expanding radius of autonomy. From surviving the strict barrier of the airport to securing your hotel base camp, to finally claiming your independence on the subway.
It is a brilliant progression. It really ensures you are mentally prepared for the mechanics of travel.
It really is. But I will leave you with this final thought to mull over. You have learned the slow, clear, beginner-friendly phrases. You have the exact vocabulary to get into the city and settle comfortably into your room.
Uh-huh.
But what happens when you confidently step out of that taxi into a bustling, completely unfamiliar neighborhood, only to realize you never learned the puzzle piece for, I am completely lost?